It is not a problem you have not gotten around to solving. It is doing something in that exact corner that most homeowners have never been told about. Something that has been protecting your living space, quietly and continuously, since the moment it arrived. Before we get to what it is actually doing, it is worth clearing up three things most people assume about house spiders that simply are not true. The first, it wants to bite you. House spiders have no interest in human contact and bite only as an absolute last resort when physically handled or trapped. You are too large and too warm to register as prey. To the spider, you are less a threat and more a feature of the landscape, a large, slow-moving obstacle it has learned to navigate around. The second, it arrived by accident. The spider in your corner chose that location based on signals your senses cannot detect. Air movement patterns, vibration frequencies from insect activity, the structural geometry of the space itself. That corner was selected, not stumbled into. The third, it serves no purpose. That is the one this video is here to correct. What your spider is actually doing is running a continuous, fully automated pest management operation inside your home. The web strung across that corner is not random silk. It is a precisely positioned capture structure placed along the flight paths and crawl routes of the insects most likely to pass through that area. Mosquitoes navigating by warmth and carbon dioxide. Houseflies drawn to food smells. Clothes moths searching for stored fabric. Gnats following moisture traces. Young cockroach nymphs small enough to pass through gaps you would never notice. Every insect that hits that web is one fewer insect moving freely through your home. The spider catches, consumes, and returns to waiting, running its operation the entire time you are asleep, the entire time you are at work, the entire time the house is quiet and still and you are nowhere near that corner. It never stops. It never needs servicing. It asks for nothing except that you leave it where it is. Here is the part most people never hear. The spider in your corner is not operating on pure instinct and fixed behavior. It is, in a meaningful sense, learning. Studies of web-building spiders have found that individuals adjust the architecture of their webs based on experience, changing thread density, angle, and web position in response to what prey actually passes through a space over repeated nights. A spider that has lived in your bedroom corner for 3 weeks has a more refined, more effective web than one that arrived yesterday, because it has been observing the actual insect traffic in your specific room and optimizing accordingly. I remember reading one study where researchers tracked individual spiders across multiple weeks and found that web placements consistently shifted toward higher traffic insect routes over time, even when those routes were not obvious to human observers. The spider was mapping your home's insect movement before you ever thought to check for it. When you kill it, that accumulated environmental knowledge disappears entirely. The next spider to occupy the same corner starts from zero. And the benefit goes further still. Several common house spider species actively prey on other spiders, including species that carry venom genuinely worth worrying about. The cellar spider, in particular, is documented hunting and consuming spiders significantly larger and more venomous than itself, entering rival webs, subduing the resident, and feeding on them directly, which means the spider you have been eyeing nervously from across the room may be the reason a brown recluse or another venomous species has never made it to that corner in the first place. It is not just catching the insects you can see. It may be quietly eliminating the spiders you would never want to find. None of this is, in the broadest sense, a new discovery. Cultures across the world arrived at this understanding long before modern biology had the language to explain it to. In ancient Egypt, spiders were associated with the goddess Neith, a weaver, a protector, a keeper of boundaries. Native American traditions across many different nations tell of Spider Woman or Grandmother Spider as a figure of wisdom, creativity, and shelter. In Japan, the Zatoichi spider, found in homes, was considered a good omen, a visitor that brought protection rather than harm. Across West African folklore, the spider is consistently cast as clever, watchful, and working on behalf of the household rather than against it. These traditions did not develop in isolation. They developed because people lived in close proximity to house spiders for thousands of years and observed, without the tools of science, the same truth modern research has now confirmed. The spider in the corner is on your side. There is one final layer that changes how you read a spider's presence entirely. Spiders move toward food. If a spider appears somewhere new in your home, a room where you have not seen one before, a corner that has been empty for months. It is almost always because insect activity in that area has increased. A new entry point. A moisture problem attracting fungus gnats. A food spill drawing ants. An undiscovered crack admitting something small and seasonal. The spider noticed before you did. It is not creating the problem. It arrived because the problem was already there, and because it knew, in the way it knows anything, through vibration and air and the slow accumulation of environmental signals, that corner had become worth occupying. A new spider in an unusual place is, more often than not, worth taking seriously as a signal about what else might be going on in your home. Go back to that corner. The spider you have been walking past all week. It chose that location deliberately. It has been refining its operation every night you were not watching. It has been catching the insects you never wanted in your home. In some cases, it has been eliminating spiders you genuinely did not want to find. And the entire time, across cultures and centuries, people who paid attention reached the same conclusion. Leave it there. You do not have to feel warmth toward it. You do not have to enjoy its presence. You only have to understand what it is actually doing and decide whether that work is worth more than the 3 seconds it would take to remove it. Most people, once they know, find they make a different choice to is there a spider living in a corner of your home right now that you have been meaning to remove? Or have you always left them alone without knowing why? Tell me in the comments. I want to know how many people have been sharing their home with a guardian they never thought twice about. And if that changed how you see what is sharing your walls. Wait until you discover what the tiny, near-invisible creature living in the dust of your furniture and carpets has been doing to your home's air quality every single night. Most people have never heard of it. All of them are living with it. That story is next. You have walked past it at least a dozen times this week. It is up in the corner above the door frame, or tucked where the ceiling meets the wall behind the wardrobe, or settled quietly between the window and the curtain edge. You notice it, you move on, and somewhere in the back of your mind the question sits, should I get rid of that? Here is the real answer. No, and not for the reason you might expect. That spider is not sharing your home by coincidence.